Hey guys, welcome to Alexis Knight Headlines Breakdown. I am Alexis Knight. Headlines, they're no longer just headlines. They're sales pitches, they're weapons, they're clickbait, distraction, and manipulation, all dressed up in bold text and pushed straight to your feed. So here, we just want to clear up some of what is out there. In these episodes for Headlines Breakdown, I'm going to break down what actually happened behind the stories that light up the internet. Because people are left confused, misled, caught in the trap of somebody else's narrative. So here in this episode, we're going to dive into 5 viral headlines, from scandalous arrests to viral outrage, to find out what's really going on behind them. First up, we have this headline here. Actress Maya Sloan arrested after drug-fueled breakdown at LAX. So Maya Sloan is a former teen actress turned wellness influencer. She has a massive following online and a history of very public ups and downs. But this latest headline, it's not just misleading, it is designed to humiliate. The story that went viral was that Maya caused a disturbance at the airport and had to be taken down by police in what the media instantly labeled a drug-fueled breakdown. No confirmation, no toxicology, no official statement from police. Just the assumption that if a woman is emotional, distressed, and famous, she must be on something, or hey, at least we can say she is. Now, in reality, Maya was not arrested for drug possession. There were no drugs on her, no charges of being under the influence. She was detained for disorderly conduct. This is a misdemeanor. It's not a felony, not a dramatic public meltdown that justified being plastered across the internet as, and I quote, a train wreck. Now, why was she upset? Maya had just flown back. Because most of you don't know this. She had just flown back from her own mother's funeral, and the paparazzi were waiting for her. She sat on the floor in the terminal, hands over her ears. She was visibly overwhelmed. And in less than an hour, someone filmed her, had posted about it. TMZ called it drug-fueled, and the narrative was set, and the public did the rest. And that's always what happens. The public does the rest. Thousands of comments, jokes, all the assumptions, and none of them, of course, based on fact, but people are eating them up as if they are fact. And all of this reinforces the same pattern. Okay, this woman breaks down, or anyone breaks down, and so it must be their fault. They must be doing something wrong. This whole situation was not news. It basically was a takedown. And I love that they used drug-fueled, okay? That wasn't just wrong, it was cruel. And what no one talks about is the aftermath. Maya doesn't get to fight back without making it worse, probably. If she speaks out, she could be defensive. But if she stays silent, the narrative's out there and it's already won. Either way, now she is stuck in a cycle that keeps her public when all she probably wants really was to disappear and heal. And that's the real damage here, while everyone's out there talking about this one person who was hurting. And they're slamming her, all because of headlines. Headlines like that do not just mislead people, they isolate the person at the center. They inflame anxiety, they destroy trust, and make recovery feel impossible. And all it needs really is one word. All right, let's move on. Next headline up. Well, we have mommy vlogger scandal explodes after leaked footage surfaces. The headline sounds dramatic, right? Well, it worked. A well-known mommy vlogger, millions of followers, family brand deals, squeaky clean image, suddenly caught on tape yelling at her children off camera. So, of course, the internet exploded. Now, the video was only 45 seconds long. No context, just her voice, sharp and angry, telling one of her kids to shut up and get it together. All right, well, within an hour, she was trending. Headlines labeled her abusive. Comment sections called for her to be investigated. Sponsors dropped her within 48 hours. I mean, here's what we're not talking about. This woman wasn't charged with a thing. There was no investigation because of this video, nothing launched. And the video, it was secretly recorded in her own home by someone she trusted. Okay, so that's the real scandal. Not the way she snapped in private, but the way private moments are now weaponized to destroy someone's life in public. We've entered a cultural moment where outrage is now entertainment, and we get high off other people's downfalls. You don't have to like her tone, but you do have to ask yourself, if 1 minute of your worst parenting moment went viral, what would it be? And would you still have a job vlogging? Or do you think that would start trending too? Let's face it, the truth is nobody's camera ready 24/7, and parenting is just messy. It's exhausting, and sometimes it's not pretty. But somehow we've decided that if you film your life online, you don't get to have bad days. Nope, you have to be perfect. It's your fault. You have set yourself up. You can never be bad again. You're expected to smile through tantrums. Stay calm even when you are falling apart. And certainly don't ever let the cracks show. But what happens when you do? I mean, in this case, a single clip filmed without her consent reached millions of people who don't know her, they don't know her kids, and honestly, they don't care about the truth. What they saw was a headline. What they reacted to was an emotion, and what they missed was the full picture. And the most ironic part, the same audience once praised her for being so real, for showing the messy house, for being open about postpartum, for not editing every single photo into a fantasy. But the moment real stopped being cute and started looking a little uncomfortable, everybody turned. But, this is because the internet only wants authenticity if it makes people feel good. Okay? The second it gets complicated or it's not their thing, they don't want a human. They really prefer a villain. The truth is, no, she wasn't perfect. But she was a human being, a mother, someone juggling content creation, family life, just pressure in general, and a camera always in her face. And when she cracked, the world didn't pause. It pounced. There's no appeal process, for internet shame. There's no courtroom for nuance. Just a million strangers deciding if you deserve to be forgiven without ever knowing what you were really even going through. And for this woman, that 45-second video is now her legacy after everything she's done and shared. I mean, everything else, the hard work, the parenting, the love, well, that's all just out now, right? She's canceled. And she was punished by the public who did not know her at all. All right, let's move on to the next one. How about this headline, and I quote, "Campus protest turns violent as public outrage mounts." That was the actual headline. The footage was dramatic. Students chanting, pushing back against barricades, police showing up in riot gear, someone screaming off camera. I mean, it played like chaos, like college kids completely out of control. And just like that, the story was set. But if you only saw what went viral, then you missed what really happened. This protest was planned. It was legal, and peaceful, whether you like it or not. Students were responding to a university-approved guest speaker known for making inflammatory remarks, and their goal was a sit-in, signs, conversation, not confrontation. And for the first few hours, it did work. But then people showed up. People who were not students. People no one recognized. They came with their phones out. They were already recording. And they started shouting over the student organizers. They pushed forward and baited security. And just like that, the energy shifted. So in an instant, it wasn't about the issue the students were out and about dealing with. It was now about the content that had been caught. The footage that hit social media, it did not come from campus security. It came from a fringe media account with a history of amplifying manufactured outrage. They framed the students as aggressive. They cut out all the peaceful portions and layered it with captions like, "Breaking chaos on campus." They knew exactly what they were doing, and the result was exactly what they wanted. They got their shares and comments and retweets. Politicians were suddenly concerned, news outlets jumping on it without vetting the source before anyone could even finish dinner. This story had already taken on a life of its own. Universities were blamed, generations were judged, and the students who started it all, who followed the rules and used their voices, they were erased from the story completely. Exercising their rights in a peaceful way, they were eliminated from the entire situation. But they were left to deal with the backlash. They were labeled as violent extremists. They were threatened online. One was even suspended, not for what they had done, but because they were near someone who pushed a barricade. This is what happens when headlines run faster than the truth. We don't just misrepresent a story, we destroy the people inside it. And the worst part? These students did everything they were supposed to do. They organized, they were peaceful, they did follow the rules, but then none of that mattered once the narrative shifted. No one interviewed the students. No one asked them what they were actually protesting. All we needed here was a headline that would stick, and then nobody cared about the details. And for these students, what started out as a moment of empowerment, it turned into a lesson in fear, a warning shot for every other student watching. Hey, you can speak up, but if the wrong person's filming, your voice won't be what gets heard, and you could get suspended. I mean, the clip will say more than you will ever get a chance to. And that court of public opinion, that's the only evidence anyone needs these days. Let's move on. Headline number 4. And I quote, "Luxury real estate agent fired after offensive live stream goes viral." The headline was sharp, okay, but the clip, not what you think. It wasn't a slur. It wasn't a rant. It was a 30-second Instagram live where she made a joke. It was dry, sarcastic, and clearly meant for her small group of followers. Now the problem is someone clipped it. They removed the punchline, uploaded it with the caption that said, and I quote, "Y'all seeing this? Real estate racism." And within an hour, it had 1 million views. Now, not one person asked for context. No one checked the full live stream. Well, her company panicked, issued a statement, and they fired her the very same day. And just like that, this woman's entire career was erased. She wasn't some part-time agent. She was top tier. I'm talking 7 figures, sold homes in the Hollywood Hills. But see, the internet doesn't give a damn about your resume. It cares about how fast it can spin whatever you did into the villain everyone wants and whether your story feeds the outrage cycle. The worst part, the full video was released 3 days later. Turns out the clip was not offensive. It was taken out of context entirely. The joke, it was part of a commentary on privilege and housing discrimination. She wasn't mocking, she was actually calling it out. But by then, it was too late. The company did not rehire her. The press did not correct the headline. The audience, they've already moved on, even 3 days later, to the next takedown, the next headline takedown. And this woman, well, she was left to clean up a mess the algorithm made. I mean, we think this stuff only happens to other people. All right, people are out there looking for your posts, okay? Imagine working your entire life to build something and then losing it in less than 24 hours. Not because of what you said, but because someone else edited you. She didn't get a meeting. She didn't get a phone call. She got a pink slip and a statement thrown out there to the public. No trial, no grace. And the apology that eventually came, well, it was very quiet. It was late and buried under all the other noise, all the other new headlines. And meanwhile, her name is still linked to that clip. If you knew her and tried to Google her, it would be the first thing that came up. And for what? A moment that never even happened the way that it was portrayed. That's the part no one thinks about. The story might fade from your feed, but the person inside it, they still live there every single day. Let's move on. Our last headline in this episode, and I quote, "Teacher placed on leave after student posts inappropriate classroom clip." Okay, it's another day, another viral takedown. This time, a high school English teacher suspended after a student posted a 15-second clip from inside the classroom. A student, 15-second clip, okay? And the headline, and I quote, "Teacher caught making inappropriate comments in class." The video shows the teacher talking about a controversial novel, asking students how language in literature can reflect power and oppression. But the clip cuts right in the middle of the conversation, right where the nuance disappears. It sounded shocking. Without context, it was shocking. Parents started sharing it. Local media picked it up. The school board issued a statement within hours saying, "We do not condone this language. The teacher has been placed on administrative leave pending review." Except here's what they didn't say. That lesson plan was fully approved. The book was on the district's curriculum list, and the inappropriate comment was a line from the book itself, being dissected as part of a discussion on systemic language. Learning in action, this teacher was not going rogue, she was doing her job. But when the clip went viral, none of that mattered. Because once it's online, the outrage writes the rules. The public does the rest. Teachers across the country have started reporting the same trend. Students are filming lessons and cherry-picking moments and posting them out of context. Yep, and these are our future generations, my friends, already learning how to change context, ruin lives, to get views. This is what they're learning in school. This system, it punishes educators who take risks, who challenge ideas, and who teach the hard stuff. And it is rewarding the students who know how to edit on their phone. This teacher, she is still on leave. She's waiting for the board to finish their review. Her students miss her. Her reputation is in question. And there is absolutely nothing she can say to fix it, because if she speaks out publicly, she risks violating school policy. And meanwhile, the student who posted this clip, they got more followers. No consequences, no accountability. That's where we are now. The person with the edit button holds the power, and the person who gets edited, well, they can lose everything. So here's the part no one wants to say out loud. Most of the people in these headlines, they cannot fight back. We're all out there watching them until it is you. Could Maya Sloan sue for slander? Maybe. Could the teacher demand her job back? Well, possibly. But the reality is, legal action is expensive. It's very slow, and it is very emotionally draining. And by the time the verdict is reached, the internet has already moved on. It's like fast fashion. The stories don't really stick. The outrage does. The damage is done in minutes. The cleanup takes years, if it ever really happens at all. And the people who post these clips, who edit and distort and repost and profit, well, they're protected because platforms don't regulate it. Media companies amplify it. And the rest of us are just scrolling past it like it's just another piece of content. But every time one of these headlines that we broke down today, every one was based on something that was not the full truth. And if it can happen to them, it can happen to you. Did you work hard for your job? So the next time you see a headline that hits just a little too hard, ask yourself, who's behind it? What is missing? And who's already paying the price for your click? Because, okay, here is what it really comes down to. The media starts the fire, and the public does the rest, right? The outrage, the judgment, the cancellation, the destruction. People take a headline and they run with it without any facts, without any context, without any care. And they don't stay loyal to the outrage. They're all mad about something, but literally, a day later, they'll just move on to the next one. It's the outrage we're addicted to out there in the public. But the person inside the headline, they don't get to move on. Their life is the one left behind in the wreckage. And the only way to stop this isn't through lawsuits or apologies. And the only way to stop this isn't through lawsuits or apologies. It's by changing how we respond. Don't comment, don't share, don't feed the machine. I mean, if something matters to you, why don't you look it up? Do the work. Why take the bait? Because in this system, it's not just celebrities and teachers who are at risk. Honestly, it is all of us. And all it takes is one clipped moment, one bad caption, one lie that spreads too fast, and you're the next headline. This is the world we live in now. You have a lot of videos out there you might want to check on. The headlines are just the bait. The public does the rest. That's how it works. I am Alexis Knight, and this was Headlines Breakdown. Stay sharp, stay skeptical, and don't let someone else write your story. Until next time.